we've had a problem here.
8, 7,
This is Houston. Say again, please.
5,
Houston, we've had a problem.
3, 2,
We've had a main B plus undervolt.
0.
Roger, main B undervolt. Okay, stand by at 13. We're looking.
Welcome back to another part of Dingo's Gap Unveiled. We have a picture today from Martine. Martine, will you tell us a little bit about this image you have brought up here?
Well, this is another terrific find by Sarah Runcie, and it's located very close to the one that we discussed before. Craft of some sort. It's a short distance away. I'm seeing 2 or 3 little heads, statues, whatever they are, one of them peering out and looking towards the rover. And I don't know if you can see it, but I'm not sure if he's got like a moustache or something in front of his face anyway. But he has, appears to have white eyebrows and quite prominent eyes. And he's peering over. It looks like he's down in a hole going into the ground, and he's peering over the top of the edge. And to the right of him, there's another figure that's also looking over. I don't know what these are. I don't know whether they are little statues. I don't know if they are little beings, but there are quite a few around there. I'd be interested to know what the guys think about those.
Yes, Billy Carson, you're first in line to comment on this one. What's your thoughts on this?
This is an interesting one. This is my first time actually getting to blow it up and look at it closely. I do see the faces there. They actually could be partially buried statues, where only thing that's left up above now is the head, or for some strange reason, like we always say, they're looking at the camera. I don't know how these things are always facing the camera. It's just strange to me. I don't know. But what you can see what clearly appears to be anatomically correct faces in some of these anomalies. What's really more intriguing to me, though, is to the right, there appears to be some type of a cup link coming down the wall or down the side of the stone, and it actually looks like it has a maybe where something would connect to it, like I don't know the term that I'm looking for, almost like a connecting piece or a pipe or something sticking out of it. It's very, very strange. It looks mechanical. It looks intelligently made. It doesn't look like it's part of the natural surrounding rock. That to me stands out even more than anything else, because it looks like something that attaches or used to attach to something or would attach to something. It almost looks like a, if I can't really find a word for it, so maybe like the handle of a gas pump, and you got, maybe it's broken off, but I'm not saying that's what it is, but it just has that look that is something intelligently designed. So that's what I see. That stands out the most to me.
Thank you.
Yes. Joe Wise, what's your thoughts on this one?
Well, there's lots of very small things below this main rock here, and the problem is, I wonder whether the resolution of the camera is really good enough to determine any of it. Really, there do seem to be little things that look like faces. There's a little one in the middle there looking out, but I mean the scale of these things is probably very small, a matter of only an inch or two, not really large enough, I don't think, to determine. But I mean, this whole ridge line here, some of these rocks definitely look like they're manufactured anyway. I mean, they look like they've been cut. They're heavily eroded and broken up. But like we said before about this area, there's a huge buried structure here of some sort, like a building or something. And there's so much debris in this area. Unfortunately, a lot of it's very small.
So true, yes.
Yes, Chris Maroney.
Yeah, I agree with everybody, and I agree with what Joe just said. He said about the scale is very small, and I think you have a larger photo of that area, and then this area is actually zoomed in. I'm seeing what caught my eye was what Billy talked about was on the right-hand side. What looks like something long. It's got like a curvature to it. At least it appears that way, and has what looks like little mechanical parts stinging at the top, and then it goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each side. Almost like there's something. It's not natural. There's something in that, and at the very bottom, you can see a shadow of something sticking out, almost like a small pipe type thing sticking out of the bottom of it. I'm not saying it's an actual pipe, but something that's some kind of appendage or something sticking out of this thing. And that's that doesn't look natural to me. If you go to the left-hand side, just under that shadow, it looks like some small little rock or whatever it may be, and it has like a triangular type shape with a small round something or other on it. The details on it show this little round ball type thing on this triangular piece. To me, these look mechanical. And again, because you know, guys, what we've been talking about, how they're layered, and I think that's what they're doing. They're hiding these mechanical parts, and what we're seeing maybe is something very small or something very larger. I don't know, but that's the way it appears to me. It's definitely not natural. I'm seeing something definitely mechanical on that right side, just sticks right out.
Yeah. There's also quite a bit of carving going on there, a few inscriptions and things I noticed too that I meant to mention before. And when I saw that thing, I could see something mechanical. It reminded me of a giant zipper or something.
Right, exactly. There's two sides that are symmetrical. They're just kind of like coming down, and it's like, okay, well, and I think if you look really good, the ones on the left going down, they actually go backward. They go to the back. Look in the darky areas; they actually come back. So whatever these things are, they're actually sticking out.
A Martian roller coaster and a amusement park,
I don't know about the roller coaster park, because this would be very small, but yeah, definitely something intelligently made or something to that effect.
So bizarre.
Neville Thompson, what's your thoughts on this one?
Well, I actually think this whole section here is like a pathway, right? Now, you can see the blocks above and the blocks lower down. The blocks above are the top layer, and the blocks below are the lower layer. Now, I've found pathways like this, and on the sides of them, they actually carve faces and figures and things like that on the sides of them to decorate the side, you know. Now, that's what I think they are. They are the remains of figures and faces that have been carved on the side of this pathway when it was like whole, you know. Now, if you look closer, where that little head is, if you go onto the pan, you can see there's a rock above it, above it and to the left. You can see like holes in the rocks and slots in the rocks. Now, I was thinking these slabs of rocks that joined together, either by, you know how the Egyptians used to do it with a piece of metal over the top?
Yes.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Now, have they been joined that way? Or have they been, when they were new, were they like the Aztec rocks? Were they really neatly slotted together? You know, I don't know. But some of the slots in the rocks I can see, if you look further back and on the other big rocks, you can see slots in the rocks, and I'm thinking, are these slots where they've actually put something in there to join them together, you know? But the faces and that are what's left of what was decorated along the sides of them, you know? Either have faces or scenes of what life was like or stuff like that, you know? I mean, some of these are tiny, but we don't know. But if this was a road and it's what? It could, see, I think they were slightly smaller than us, the people of Mars, when they were there, or they could still be there, you know. You know my views on things. But, sorry, but, scale it down, it could be, if you scale the people down and scale the faces down on the side, it could have been nearly maybe it's half their size, you know, just putting scenes along the side. But you can see on the pathway there's a lot of rubble it's fallen down from this side, you know. So if we could, reconstruct all these pieces, you'd probably find that they all fit together in the form a pathway that runs along to the end. That's my opinion anyway. But the faces and that are there. They're probably decorations that were on the side. I mean, I'm seeing more and more like, as I look. But that's my opinion.
Yes, thank you, Neville. I want to get back to the first episode we made on Dingo Gap Unveiled, and that was when we start talking about the size of these images. I actually believed that this was a huge image until I found out by looking at the Neville's grid and the rower tracks that it was actually a small area we were looking at. So, if we are looking at this as small heads or statue head or carving, what would it tell us about those who made it? If it were what we are talking about, carvings and statue head, what's your thoughts on it? What would that tell us about those who did it? Any
that they were humanoid.
what about the size?
I would say the size was smaller than us.
Yeah.
Not tiny, not like, not that big. But maybe it's about 9-10 inches or something.
Yeah, very
I
tiny.
think,
Well,
yeah.
if you had to guess, though, I mean, if you looked at the larger picture where this is actually inset, but if you look at this picture, how big would you say that whole area is? I don't see it that big, because there is no way to scale it. Now, I don't know if you scale that whole area, not this zoomed-in part, but the actual whole scaled-in area. Is it scaled itself? To me, I see it as 2 or 3 feet wide.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very big, so if that's true, then what are we looking at?
Yeah, it appears to be all relative to it, doesn't it, really?
I mean,
also-
if it's really small, the people would have to be the size of ants.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd have to be super small.
But
Yeah.
we must also remember that we as humans do sometimes not have the knowledge to understand life outside our own world. We know what we see. We know what we have seen or believe in from human knowledge as such. But what do we actually know about life in the universe? My bet on this is we know very, very little, and much of what's up there would be unbelievable
I mean,
for a
if,
human to believe in and understand.
Sure.
if
and
you
sorry,
if you
Nat.
if you actually told somebody, oh, these were made by people who were 7-8 foot tall, they would probably believe you. We have an easy way of understanding if something is bigger than us. It having the same kind of intelligence than us, But if we start saying, oh, well, these are 7 inches tall or something, and they made this and they made that, people are gonna laugh at you, aren't they? They're gonna. They need to get through to the heads of something smaller. Could be more intelligent than us. We've just really got to look at ants on our own planet. The things that ants can do. You know what I mean? It's like,
As teamwork, they're just very, very intelligent, for what they are. We look at an ant and go, oh, it's just a stupid insect, but it's not. I mean, I've seen these things actually chain themselves together and drag large items. So it goes to tell you there is some intelligence. Now, I'm not saying that there could be any different size humanoids. I just have not ever seen any, at least not in a lot of these photos. Because when you zoom into a very small section of an area, and I'm only guessing, of course, it was 2 or 3 feet wide, judging by the other photo, not the up close one. You can say, okay, well now this part's zoomed in. Now how big are we coming down to as far as that scaling? And then how big are these objects that we're looking at? So it's kind of anybody's guess, but I'm thinking that it's not very big, if we had to take a wild guess. But nonetheless, it still has anomalies in it. It's still, no matter how you look at it, this is not natural.
No.
Now, whether we believe there are very small people on there, which could very, very well be, and these were constructed, it's still intelligently made. If it's some kind of mechanical parts included, again, it's still an anomaly, and it's still intelligently made. So
I really don't have a problem with, you know, the changes that come with evolution and, you know, according to the conditions of an environment, or in this case, we're talking about a very small planet as well. You know, I mean, we're all aware of how quickly you can create a dog, you know, a pedigree dog that is so very much smaller than its original and natural state. It only takes how many, you know, how many generations, very few, to actually create a very tiny, I'm thinking of a poodle, for instance, you know, the standard poodle, which starts like this. And we've now bred a toy thing, which is this big. You know, and I think with interbreeding, it's quite feasible that there could have been a small race of people, a small race of a humanoid type, but created, if these are statues, ornaments, whatever, I think they may well have reflected them. You know,
now, would you agree, though? Would you also agree? It depends on what we believe as far as our origins as well.
Yeah.
Because if you believe that we were from maybe their race, somehow they anticipated a catastrophe and they made their way here to Earth,
right,
and we are what we are today, how big would they have to been? Now, don't get me wrong, I agree with you as far as evolution, but you know what I'm saying? So you kind of, if you believe in the theory of panspermia, you know, there's many different, you know, so you have to say to yourself, okay, so how big would these people, humanoids, whatever they may be, how big would they have to be? And I guess it depends on your origins and your point of view. Because it really, and there's not a wrong answer.
What I would like to say, sorry, Nev.
Joe?
What I would like to say is, from what I've uncovered, there's at least 3 sizes of Martian.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, and the smallest size would be the size in your picture of the 2 dead aliens, who were about a foot or a foot and a half tall, maybe.
Yes.
And then there's another group of Martians who are around 3 foot tall, maybe 4.
Yeah.
And there's another group who are human-sized, around 5 or 6, or even 7 foot tall. Now, the problem is with carvings is that if you look at the scales of things that are carved, you cannot actually determine how big the person was who carved it. Because if you look at some of the carving, if you look at some of the statues in Egypt and places like that, they're absolutely enormous.
Yes.
Now, the ancient people in South America actually think that their ancestors who built the original pre-Mayan and Olmec structures were giants. But their idea of a giant is not the same as ours, because they were much smaller than us.
Yeah.
So you have to take these things into account. So it's actually very difficult to determine.
And also, Joe, we know that the Victorian people were so much smaller than we were. You only got to look at the photographs of them, and that's only
on the whole,
only at the turn of the century. They were very much smaller in stature.
And another thing you got to look at as well. I mean, diet plays a massive amount. Nutrition. We're only now starting to get as big as we were tens of thousands of years ago. Because when we went into agriculture, we actually shrank because we started eating bread. And now bread actually, if you just eat bread and drink beer like the ancient Egyptians did, the normal people, they were quite small. They didn't get enough protein, and so they were much smaller. And it's only now, really, that we've actually started getting back to the size that we were probably as cavemen.
Thank you to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
AFC.
You know that they found a group of dwarfs in I forget the island that they found these dwarfs, but it wasn't Australia. It was it might have been New Zealand, but they found a group. They found an entire civilization, all the remains of people, human people that were 3 feet tall on Earth. They found hundreds of them, actually. So it wasn't just an anomaly. It was like an entire little, colony, I guess, of these dwarfs. And in Africa, close to Mali, Africa, they actually found more dwarfs, and the huts, the stone huts or the stone structures that they lived in are still standing till this day. The Mali Dogon tribe guards them. They were little blue people. And this is where the cartoon, the Smurfs, came from. It came from these little tiny blue dwarfs in Africa, in Mali. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, the trolls. The trolls.
Smurfs.
Trolls, right? The Smurfs.
There's also a tribe in Scotland, Billy, as well, that were very tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and they literally got hunted down and wiped out, but they were a very small race of people.
I mean, you got the pygmies, you got pygmies, you got all kinds of.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
they different size anything here, you know, and on other planets as well. So it's not out of the question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna interrupt you here, and I wanna go back to this picture that Martina brought up here, and I'm gonna ask you if any one of you have anything you wanna add to this picture while we're talking.
No.
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 That's it.
No.
We're good.
So, I would like to add, as I said it as a kind of a joke when I said roller coaster, but it actually, the object to the right reminded me of the rails from something that was bended down, and this little object on top of it was like woohoo, you know, going down here. I would say it's 100% not. But what I'm saying is my first thought, and first thoughts are not always a realistic thoughts, but I'm just saying what I was thinking when I saw that first time, and that was my first thought on that one. And the carvings and the heads here, I admit the one in the middle does look like something extraterrestrial race of a kind. And I see what Martina means with the one to the left with the white eyebrows. Though I might not agree, it might being a head. It could also just as well be a rock, and the way the picture is taken. But we have seen that before. But it's an interesting picture, and I like it very much. So thank you to Martina for bringing that picture up. That was a great one.
Sarah for finding it.
Yeah, Sarah Runchi. I think it was that way we pronounced it. Runci, yes, sorry, Sarah. She did a lot of anomaly hunting also. It's a great one. Thank you, Sarah, for finding that. Thank you to Martina for bringing that one up, and thank you all for 5 guys here for giving your thoughts on this one. That was great.
Yep.
And to you out there, until we see you next time again, take care. Bye.
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 Right.